Hi there, I'm Michelle Rubin from michelleyoga.com, and today we're going to look at a very basic, simple pose. Pretty much everybody can do it. It's called thread the needle and just plain old needle. It's wonderful for getting rid of back pain. It's great for opening up your hips. It can help with certain types of knee pain as well. And I consider it medicine for anybody that sits in a chair. And the more often you do it, the easier it's going to become, the better you're going to feel. So the options to coming down onto the floor are to lay on your side, which is going to be a little more gentle, and then roll onto your back. So that's a really nice option to get on and off the floor. The second option is to do a little bit more core with the feet together, knees together, hands behind the thighs, and just come down nice and slow on just one vertebra at a time. When you arrive down, you want to have your feet and your knees at hips distance apart. You want to have a nice neutral neck, so your ears are over the shoulders. If for some reason your chin is lifted, you're getting a lot of wrinkles at the back of the neck, then just put a little bit of height, a blanket or a pillow or something underneath the skull so that your neck can be long and your chin isn't lifted. First thing we want to look at is the knee joint, and its purpose is to be a hinge. So the knee only moves one way. So as we come in and out of this pose, we want to make sure that we're pivoting at the hip socket, which is a ball and socket joint. Okay, so the hip socket can move this way, whereas the knee can only move this way. So as we bend the left knee, we're going to externally rotate the left leg, and without the pelvis lifting, we're going to see if we can hook the left ankle just on the outside of the right knee, really close to the kneecap. And from here, if this is too much or it's difficult for us to hook the foot, then we just walk the right leg away until it's very easy to hook the foot. Ideally, we can keep a neutral pelvis here in needle pose. If we want less of a stretch, the right foot walks away. If we want more of a stretch, the right foot comes to us. We could lift the heel for just a little bit more stretch. We could put the foot on a block or a bolster, or if we're looking for even more stretch, we can interlace our fingers behind that right thigh as we come into thread the needle pose. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. If the shoulders are being lifted, and again you get that chin lift, it's better to go back a stage and use a block so that your shoulder heads can relax and you're not getting any jamminess in the neck. But if you can interlace your fingers without the neck feeling bad, think about moving your thighs away from you for more stretch. Think about lengthening the pubic bone away from the belly button for more stretch. Fire up those feet so there's no wrinkles in the ankles. You're pushing through your toe mounds. You're trying to spread your toes. And then if you still want more of a stretch, draw those legs to you. What we often see when we pull those legs in, again, is that those shoulder heads wants to lift. They want to come away from the floor, which causes tension in the neck. So sometimes I just like to think about gently pulling the upper arm bones into the shoulder sockets to release the shoulder heads down to the earth. Always feet are firing. And just close your eyes and really find your breath here. Continuously lifting the legs up away from you. Continuously think about lengthening the pubic bone away from the navel if you want more stretch. Think about the sit bones going towards the end of the mat. And I sometimes even like to think about my hip flexors being hot knives that are cutting through my body towards the end of the mat to get a little bit deeper into the pose. But remember, less is more, so if you're feeling like it's too much, do a little less. Just a couple more breaths here. Then releasing your fingers, letting that right foot float down to the floor. We're going to take that left knee towards the belly button to uncross the leg, and then we're going to straighten that left leg out as much as we can without it pulling to the back. So if it's too much, just keep that knee a little bit bent, and then bend that knee, bring that foot down. Keeping the knees and the feet at hip distance apart, we're going to lift up the right leg, we're going to externally rotate it, and we're going to easily hook the right ankle on the outside of the left knee this time for number 4 pose. So again, think about neutral pelvis. This can be number 4 pose, needle pose, whatever you want to call it. Walking the foot away if you want less of a stretch. Walk the left foot to you if you want more of a stretch. Lift the heel, lift the foot. And again, just getting off the bus where you need to. Not pushing your body past where it should go. But if you're still looking for more stretch, you can move the legs away from you, whether the foot's on the floor or not. Think about moving those legs away from you for more stretch. Think about lengthening the pubic bone away from the belly button. Think about the sit bones going towards the end of the mat. Belly pulling in. Shoulders are always relaxed. No lifted draw the legs to you with your arm strength as you lift the legs up, making sure the shoulder heads aren't popping by pulling the arm bones into the shoulder sockets and relaxing the fronts of the shoulders, known as the shoulder heads, down to the floor. And when you're here, you want to try and see if the weight can be even on the two sides of the pelvis. So often we feel the weight coming more to that left side or that right side. So see if the weight can be even in the waist, the ribs, the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are equal distance from the floor. Make sure the feet are fired up and there's no wrinkles in your ankles. Try and spread your toes, fire up the toe mounds. And then just close your eyes and breathe. This is one of those poses that if you did it on a regular basis, you'd get really good results. And it's a pose that you can do for long periods of time. So you can work yourself up to holding it for 5 or even 10 minutes if you wanted to. But starting with a minute or 2 per side is just perfect. Let's go for a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, you release the fingers, pull your belly in to slowly lower that left foot down, arrive, pause there. And then take that right knee towards your belly button to easily, safely unhook the foot and straighten it up to open up the back of the knee. Bend that knee, bring that foot onto the floor. To come up, you're just going to roll off to your right or your left side. Generally in yoga, we roll off to the right, and then we just use our arms to push ourselves up. Thanks so much for joining me today. Namaste.